Hey there, welcome back to Tim Talks Cooking. Today we are talking keto fathead dough, my friends. You heard me right, that's keto fathead pizza dough, and I think you're going to love this recipe. Today I'm going to make it with almond flour, but I'll do another video soon where I do it with coconut flour so you can see what to expect and how they turn out, what the difference is, and especially so you can use whatever product you have on hand to make a great pizza dough. Let's get started. Here's everything you'll need to make a really delicious almond flour fathead dough. Starts off with 1.5 cups or 12 ounces of shredded mozzarella cheese. This is freshly shredded from the block. You want to do that because if you buy already shredded mozzarella cheese, it's covered with a starchy substance that keeps the shreds apart. Just shred it yourself. 2 ounces of full-fat cream cheese. 1.25 cups of almond flour. This is unblanched almond flour. You could use blanched if you like. I just happen to have this on hand. I'm going to use a tablespoon as well of oat fiber. This is not oat bran. This is just fiber. It doesn't have any carbs, and it kind of replaces what in a wheat crust would be gluten. If you don't have this product or you don't want to use it, just add another 1/4 cup of almond flour. You're also going to need 1 large egg. Our first step is to melt our cheeses. I'm going to do that in 30-second intervals in my microwave oven. After the first 30 seconds, it looks like this. You can see it's starting to melt, and that's just what we want. After the second 30 seconds, you can see it's starting to melt even more. I think maybe one more go in there, and we'll be ready to blend in the rest of the ingredients. While we're waiting for our cheese to melt, let's mix together our oat fiber and our almond flour here. We don't have to be terribly precise about this. I just want to get them mixed up. I also want to break down any little lumps. You can see there are a few of them in there. All right. Now here are our melted cheeses. And as I stir them, you can see they're going to melt completely here. This is exactly what we want. You could do this in a food processor if you want. You can use a fork or a large wooden spoon to do this. Anyway, we're just going to pretty much dump in the rest of the ingredients. There's our almond flour and oat fiber and the egg. And now we're just going to stir this mixture until we get all of the ingredients incorporated. It seems a little unlikely at first, and the cheese isn't hot enough to cook the egg, so don't worry about it. We're just going to keep on going until everything blends together. If it gets too hard, you can also just use your hands. Kind of knead it together. Now here you can see we have lots of lumps of cheese and stuff. We're going to continue to mix this until we have a nice, smooth, homogeneous mixture. To roll the dough out, you'll need 2 sheets of parchment paper. Here I've got one underneath it here. I've shaped my dough into a round disc. Cover it with some parchment here. And we're just going to roll it out to the size that we want. We want this to be 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch thick. As long as you work quickly, this dough is fairly forgiving. We want to make it into a really regular round shape. We're just going to push it back a little bit. Got really thin up here. We want it to be even. As you can see, it's very easy to work with while it's warm. If it cools off and becomes hard to work with, toss this back in the microwave for a few seconds just to loosen it up and start rolling it out again. And it'll be just fine. Once you've got it rolled out, you can put it into your pizza pan with the parchment paper, of course. And here we're going to push it into the shape of the pan. Nothing to it. And here we go. Not bad looking, right? This is going to go into a 400-degree oven for 8 minutes. Here's what it looks like when it comes right out of the oven. You can see that it's browned a little bit here, and actually, here, let's just have a look at the other side. You can see it's browned on the other side of this, so that actually looks really good. It smells great, and you can see it's kind of puffy here. When I brought it out of the oven right away, it actually was kind of ballooned up a little bit. We could have pricked this with a fork to prevent that. It doesn't really matter that much anyway. Here, it's really a sign of the fact that this has layers, and this is just going to be delicious. Now, if you've watched my other videos, usually at this point, I taste whatever I've made and tell you how delicious it is and try to describe it so you can have some of that experience. Here, I'm afraid I'm not going to do that because I want to make a delicious pizza out of this later on today, but I'm really not ready to do that. Actually, it gives me a chance to tell you that this is a good point to stop at if you want to use this later. I'm going to let this cool completely, and say if I want to use it next week or in a month or whatever, I'm going to wrap it up and throw it into my freezer and then bring it out and just top it and put it in the oven just like I would any frozen pizza. After that, it'll be delicious. Anyway, listen, I hope you try this almond flour, fathead, keto pizza crust. I also hope that you will like, share, comment, and especially subscribe to my channel. Please also click on that notifications bell. You'll be notified every time I upload a new video, which actually is a couple of times a week. Thanks for joining us here today at Tim Talks Cooking. We'll catch you next time.